All right, there. So we're live. I'm live back again here, and we got Bullzie on the line with us, and I guess we're here kind of discussing something that he said was going to show me more. I guess if I was correct here about the thing that Joe Cronin tweeted out and then removed. Or it was kind of what did he do basically? He took a video from me from a couple years back and he edited out some couple of things there to make it look I was
Well,
talking about shooting things and stuff like that.
yeah, I'll send you well, do you have the photo I sent you
Uh
of
yes I
that,
d-
Twitter post?
yes I did.
So that's all.
Yes I remember. Still
So it was
saved.
several clips.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was several clips, I believe, that was taken from like I don't know how many years ago,
Yeah.
and then he edited them out and made it seem like you're only making death threats. Now,
Really.
if you would like to explain them and what you were talking about, if you can, what initiated you to say them?
Well, which video was it? There was because I tried to
Was
find a
I don't
video
know. I don't know because there were several clips of stuff, several different videos. So
because
I don't know
I don't
what.
recall even making a death threat towards anybody there, but there were a lot of things I said about past scammers on Skype, YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. I mentioned many times about things that all these scam accounts. I just want to go there, beat their asses, find out where they live, and all that shit there. But I don't recall even saying anything about killing all of them. I would not do that. But at the same time, I was busy. I was getting so many scam people on Skype, as I mentioned, on all of the social outlets that I'm on there, and it was just driving me nuts at times. I mean, like couple of them, a couple of scammer girls trying to hit me up for money on Facebook, saying that they're living. They used to be born and raised in either U.S. or in Germany, but they were living in Africa, studying to be a so-called registered nurse, asking me to send them money for fees and shit. And I was like, "Fuck you, you scammers!" It's like, "But why? But why?" I trying to sound all innocent and so sweet, like they're being attacked, and fuck you for calling me a scammer, and showing me some random photo of some random ass blonde by a poolside and stuff like that. I mean, we'd had so many of these trick bitches, which is what I used to call them, hitting me up, hitting other people up. Like for instance, not too long ago, I've been getting friend requests on Facebook by these various so-called women up there. They're definitely spam accounts because there's only one picture of them. It's the same one that's in their profile picture there, and these are in their mobile uploads.
Right. So at least we know the context of who you are talking about in
Yeah.
those certain videos. Because it
Yes.
only says, I'm going to chop their heads off, shoot them. So it's Joe Cronin pulling some of the old stuff from your previous videos,
Hmm.
editing them, and posting them. It just seems like you're making death threats.
Really.
So that's all I saw from it.
Yeah.
And what I remember is him going over us,
Hmm.
you and me,
Yeah.
talking about his suicide jokes.
Yeah. The I'm
That
gonna kill
and
myself.
do you know what that was? All
Yeah.
right. Let me send you another photo because, of
Oh.
course, Joe Cronin, like he will delete stuff.
Yes.
Thinking,
Like he did that. Like he did with some of the cries that Tommy's friend Crystal did a few times there, and he also did with his wife Leah. She said on one program, "I'm coming back," and he edited out where she's just saying, "I'm coming."
yeah. So let me send you just the first when this discussion started happening in
Okay.
Joe's server.
Mhm.
As you can see, I'm adding Joe Cronin in the server,
Mhm.
and it says, "Are you really trying to character assassinate Dr. Earl Joe?"
Mhm.
Honest question. Like, so this is the question. Of course,
Okay.
someone is front. What the hell are you talking about? I tell him scroll up because, of
Yeah.
course, post he shared it on his Discord
Yeah.
like an idiot.
Yes.
So there it is. If you want to see it, well, you can't
Okay.
see it anyway.
Oh.
So we know this. Of course, this could be a form of character assassination on Joe's part
Yeah.
which also can be referred as slander, which could be not a good look.
Uh-huh.
So we know. You want to know what he says. Let's
I
just
really.
pull that up real quick. I'm going to read this out loud. No, I just responded to his comments and questioned him as he did me. Am I not allowed to respond? Weird. Now let's analyze that for a second.
Okay.
If he really was responding, why did he supposedly, I'm guessing, I'm actually 100% sure he deleted it, but
Yeah.
why would he delete his response? That's the question. If you're just responding, right?
Yeah.
Can you answer that?
Let's see here. I'm unable to get it on my computer here, so I got my phone up here looking at the whole thing there. Ah, there we go.
All right.
Bullzie and so are you trying to carry set? And Bullzie, what the hell are you talking about? Kenagon. Scroll up and see what Joe posted there.
Yeah.
And of course, it's Jeremiah Goodson, aka Bullfrog. Here, I'm looking up here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it's take a while there.
Okay.
And let's see here. I just responded to his comments and questioned him as he did with me. Am I not allowed to respond? And weird. And you're saying you can respond.
So let's stop right there.
Yeah.
I just want you to react to Joe's comment. If he really was just responding, why would he delete the video he made about you on Twitter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll delete that post there. Because I remember you mentioned that on Ken's program when you first showed me that.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you mentioned that.
to my response, of course, you can't really see the full thing, but I
Oh, yeah.
can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can respond. No one is saying that, Joe. Problem is, you disagreed with him not liking your suicide jokes and decided to make clips of him making death threats, which seems out of context of what he was talking about.
Yes.
This is why I am saying you tried to character assassinate him. Him. It's okay
That's
to
fine.
respond.
Yeah.
So.
And he was
So we
typing
both.
there. That was it. I guess
Yeah,
that's the
pretty
end
much.
of the photo there that you supposed to me.
Yeah, but there's more. But
Yes.
it's short. But there's more. So,
Mhm.
of course, there's nothing wrong with to respond to someone else's comments, right?
Yes,
No
correct.
one has a problem with that.
Correct.
That's not my problem. My problem was you decided to go back a few years back
Yeah.
because someone disagreed with your jokes. So you slander them?
Really. So basically,
Supposed-
he's taking this shot at me because of the suicide jokes I talked about a couple times on Ken's program and YR's program in the past.
Yep. And, everyone spoke on it.
Yeah.
Everyone, Joe says they're jokes. When's the last time has anybody ever laughed at, I'm going to kill myself?
No, not that I know of. And there's a good reason why I have that theory because, you see, one of my girlfriend of over 3 years, Nancy, I've spoken about a few times in the past. She committed suicide in 2001 after ODing on a bunch of prescription medication there. And that was probably one of the worst days of my life when I got that phone call from her stepfather next to the day that my father passed away before my own eyes, which happened a couple months earlier.
Yeah. So I'm going to send you another photo of Joe responding to me. Now, I wanted you just to look at it. I'm going to read you it.
Okay.
So let's see. Well, actually, I respond to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm clicking up the chat right now here.
Hopefully I see it. Okay, where are you at? Right. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. This is what he says in response.
Okay.
He goes around questioning why I make jokes. Well, I wonder why he goes around threatening to kill people. Seems fair to me, except I'm more concerned with his comments since they were actual anger. If you don't like me, feel free to leave. Wow. That is his response.
Really?
Yep. So basically he's saying, if you don't agree, leave me alone. That's what he's saying. Okay, let's narrow this down in his response. We already know he went back and took your photos out of context and made it seem like you were making
The
death threats.
video. Yes, which I would never do.
Yeah. So, if he is just questioning that, that's fine. Why did you delete the video then? Again, that's a question that needs to be asked to Joe Cronen if he can't answer. Which I doubt he can, but if he didn't delete it, I would like to see it up again. But either way, he knows he attempted to character assassinate you. He knows that. And now he is trying to double down and say, well, if he questions my suicide jokes, I'm going to question him on this. What about this? See, am I right? No. That's not how it works. So I respond, except he didn't make those threats recently. It's not like he does that 24/7, Joe. 75% of your jokes are, I'm going to kill myself. Which even so, what was his comments directed towards? You just took the ones of him saying, I'm going to shoot these people. But who, Joe? I understand questioning them, but these were a while back. I'm going to send you that now.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I got the Skype chat up right now as they're doing this here.
so what do you think he's doing right now?
Right now, I don't see it yet there. Like
Oh,
I said, this computer there needs. I know it got updated not too long ago, but fortunately, it hasn't really popped up on the son of a son of a bitch. Only thing I see, so there he goes. It's going to be popping up soon there.
all right. So
It's going to
again,
take a while
he's
there.
making yeah. Again, he's making excuses to try to say, well, if I can't say this, why is he allowed to say that? Even though we know you weren't really trying to threaten anybody, right?
Right, correct.
We already know that. We already know this.
Yes.
So, my question was him, why are you trying to character assassinate someone? He can't answer it. So you know what he does after. Well, I'm going to send you one more thing.
Okay, there.
Because two of his cronies came after me, calling me, you a pussy. Fuck you, Bullzie, because I'm questioning their lord.
And which cronies are these? Drew or a couple other people?
Well, not Bam. I think it's Drew Bar 1000 and hold on. And what's again? And it's right here. And Jazzy Utah. Drew Bar 100 and Jazzy Utah. Of course.
I see.
So I'm going to send that just for the fun of it. Because
okay, there.
It's fun watching people come after me just because I called out their Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. So that's out of the bag.
All right.
By the way, that's not what it's about. That's when I was kicked from the server.
Oh, wow.
So, let's analyze what we just saw. Cronen is a scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
He potentially, character assassination can be a form of slander.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So, he tries to slander. He potentially slanders you. Deletes the... So I'm thinking, I haven't seen it up lately, so I'm betting he deleted it. Betting. It's gone. So we both know he deleted it. maybe.
Yes, I remember you mentioned that, like I said.
Yeah. And he tries to make excuses. Well, he did this. Why aren't you questioning him? Well, hold on a second. You pulled them out of context. So how are we going to question them at all? So what are we going to do there? You can't. So nothing else to do. You're just trying to make an excuse because someone doesn't like your suicide jokes, which everyone knows aren't funny. Scumbag.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. This is your YouTuber, 37 years old, trying having a hissy fit over someone disagreeing with his jokes, which aren't funny. Everyone can agree on that. And if you're saying, well, he's just making no, at this point, they're not funny. He's not doing it for comedy. He's just doing it, saying it because he wants to say it. And you know what?
Wow.
Maybe it's just him wanting some sort of sympathy or empathy. I don't know what it is. Maybe he really wants to kill himself. I hope he seeks the help.
I think
But what are you
I
gonna say?
agree as well. I remember Ken mentioned it on a couple of programs that the reason he did that so his diehard fans out there would feel a bit of sympathy, would send him donations, you know. But then, and of course, I know Nicky Nines on one of his programs where he called out Joe Cronin because of that remark, you know, saying, I would have been in the mall earlier this afternoon other than watching Monday Night Raw. And he's talking about the incident where, I guess in Colorado, where some idiot shot up a shopping mall in that area, in that state there. And I guess Nicky Nines went off on Joe Cronin because of that. He even read the names of the 10 victims of that
Uh,
shooting.
you know what? Yeah. So it's just so Joe. At this point, everyone. What else are you gonna say? Like everyone speaks on it. Everyone doesn't like him. And you're gonna be mad because no one likes them. Oh well, have it your way. Like okay, fine. Continue making them. See what happens. Really, just see what happens.
Yeah.
That's your own downfall, brother. Really.
And also, oh, let me also add to this, you know, a couple other people that I knew back in Michigan that were good buddies of mine also it took their own lives, and I still miss those two cats dearly, as well as Nancy. A friend of mine named Izzy, he hung himself over issues he was having at his home over his ex-girlfriend and everything else there. Um, and plus, a good friend of mine named Dirk, who used to have these excellent house parties back in the 90s when he, before prior to moving to Boston, he was having a lot of problems. So I guess he was in deep in debt, and then got to the point where he decided to take his life, and that upset me pretty much. I didn't even know. I tried to find the guy on Facebook, but I couldn't do it until I found out from another friend of mine. You know, when I was asking, "How's Dirk doing? How's this guy doing?" And then I also found out in between that a girlfriend of a buddy of mine that I often spoke to a couple of times, she took her own life.
Yeah, suicide is a serious thing.
Yeah, it's not
But
funny at
no,
all. That's why.
no.
That's why I don't condone it.
Yeah. I've always said this. I understand Joe making jokes. I understand him trying to be funny if he is.
Yeah.
If he's just like watching Raw, makes me want to drink a bottle of bleach. Okay, I understand that. Fine. But if someone like just say, yourself,
Hmm.
you're gonna get mad over that,
Yeah.
there's no reason for that. Ever. Move on. That's a pussy right there. Trying to be like Nicky Nine said. I agree with him there, 100%. It's edgelord shit. Gotta be a little edgy about your jokes, and then get more edgy about
Yeah.
people commenting on them.
All right. And Sergeant Hartman in my chat is asking about Izzy. He said, did Izzy lived in Inkster, which is an area in Michigan, so he's from that state as well. I'm not too sure where he lived, but I know he was staying at some friends in the Port Huron area when he decided to hang himself like he did there. And I never really got to know which part of the Detroit or the area that he lived in. To be honest with you, I never really found out where they lived, or let alone some of their last names, until I joined Facebook back in early 2010 there. So that's a very good question there, but I do miss the guy. I helped him out when he was down on his luck, and he helped me out when I was down on my luck. We helped each other out, and yes, I still miss him. I still think about him. How would he be today? Would he have a wife, a family, and everything else?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. So again, we all know suicide. There's many stories about suicide. My brother murdered himself, killed himself.
Wow, man. Wow.
So
My condolences and prayers for you, man.
yeah. So it is a serious thing.
It is,
But
yeah.
so this is where it comes the topic of how do we approach something like this. Okay, the answer isn't okay, Joe, stop making suicide jokes, or how do we help people with suicide if Joe Cronen does in fact want to kill himself.
If he did, then
But
he would make a bad decision, because that would be a slap in the face to his wife Leah, his three children, his broadcast partners like Jake DeMarco and Drew Wilson there, and it would be a slap in the face to all the people who still watch Monetize This, his Friday Night Throwdown, his Raw and SmackDown reviews, his AEW reviews, and his little afternoon streams. That would be a slap in the face to all those people there, because in a lot of ways you're basically telling the people who care and love you to fuck off,
yeah,
and
it's
it's also considered a very selfish decision.
you're definitely 100% right on that, Dr. Earl.
Yeah,
But with that being said, maybe that's why if Joe really is suicide, maybe we should help him.
yeah, it
Who
would.
knows?
If he wants to, he could reach out to any of us, and we could talk some sense into him. But that's all, of course,
But you
on
know
Joe's
what?
side. But hmm
He's a scumbag. That's the funny thing. He's shown himself to be a scumbag for just not liking your suicide jokes. So he goes as far as character assassination, which again can be a form of slander.
yeah,
So again, as much I would like to help someone with suicide, I really think there's no reason to help Joe at all if he's willing to go the lengths of, you know, scumbaggery. You know what I'm saying?
wow, man.
So,
I think he's just mad at me. I think he's also mad at me because I've not been on both Monetize This, his throwdown programs. But the reason why I haven't, and I stated this a couple times before, and I guess I have to say it again. The reason I have not jumped on those programs as a caller, as a guest, is because it's like a favorite nightclub that you used to go to in your early adult years, when you're in your 20s. The music was booming, the drinks were slamming, the waitresses were cool, and the girls at the club were ultra hot and stuff. It was your favorite tunes here and there. Then as time goes on, some of the things change. You get a different crowd, you get a different set of tunes on by the DJ there. The club changes formats from, like, say, an industrial club to a top 40 dance music scene there. And you go in there and it's like, wait a minute, everything just changed. I don't like this. Where's the management that I used to know? Where's the waitresses I used to know? Where are the hot chicks I used to know? Who are these jabronis? And that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking to look at, because I'm not. The scene that you used to know is dead. It's been replaced with something else. And me not to being a friend of change as it is, I'm going to be like, it's just, I'm just going to stop showing up. And plus, there were a lot of times in the past where I tried to get a word in, I'm trying to say something, I try to talk, I'm trying to this, but I'm overshadowed by everybody else talking while I'm trying to say something there. That's happened a few. In fact, there were a couple times this past Saturday on Ken's program that I tried to get a few words in, but I wasn't able to.
Yeah, I remember Saturday. You called in. Of course, there's going to be people talking over.
Yeah,
Mello, I don't have a problem with, but he's one of the people that will talk over some people.
yeah,
Alex, he was quiet for the most part. Tommy, fine. But
yeah,
really, it was Mello that would try to talk more.
yeah.
And some people would just try to talk as well because there's so many on the call. So it's hard to get words in. Someone else is just
And with monetize this, having this person on, that person on, I don't know how many people are on that program right now, other than just Joe and Drew and these other people there. I know that the guy Lewis was one of them, the guy with the high pitched voice, and of course
Yes.
this other guy named what's his name, Chad, has his girlfriend in the back.
Oh shit, Chad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't.
I
Yeah,
think Chad was.
I think his name is Chad, if I'm correct there. Yeah, like I said, I only check in to see what's going on for about a couple of minutes there, and then I'm switching back to whichever program's playing, or well on Twitch there with some DJ Melting Girl or actually knows Nova on doing her gaming stream on her Twitch there.
Right.
Yeah.
Sergeant Hartman, Joe shows were much better with Dr. Earl on there. That's my opinion right there.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I appreciate that, Sergeant.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
But you know what? Looking back at Joe's shows, monetize this shows, I would say Ken, Dave, JB,
Yep.
Tommy.
Tommy.
Who else am I missing? Keith. I think Keith was there, right?
I remember he was. I think it may have been before I started watching, I guess, in the early 2015, 2016 there. Because I didn't start watching that show until about 2017 after Joe found me on that other program there, accidentally there. And it was also, we cannot forget Troy. There was a couple times where
Troy from the Super Ugly podcast?
Troy. No, I think he's one of
Wait, no.
Joe's buddies there. He used to call. He was.
No, I don't think.
He was a bearded dude there. I think he used to be. He would add in a lot of stuff there. This and that there. I one time mentioned talking about. They think the Attitude Era has found a new home in the White House, and Dave and Troy started going at it because Troy was a liberal and Dave was more conservative, and they would go off on over politics, over something that I mentioned there. We will
Yeah.
also have occasionally also all these other people calling in, like Pro V. We cannot forget, of course, the late great Larry Funk. He was always a cool guy to have on the show. There, a lot of people are still missing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name from the Super Ugly podcast? He was there too.
The Super Ugly Show. Well, there was a Richie, and there was also I think it was probably Richie because Rocky, from I understand, doesn't really care for Joe Cronen that much.
Right. So
Yeah.
Richie was there, I believe.
Yeah, he was on. I remember listening to one episode where he called in and stuff.
Yeah. So we think of the glory days. It's where people with Jesse too, like
Yeah,
Jesse
we
Becker.
also. Yes, I remember Jesse. He was gone for a while. He came back. I think he's still on that show, just as well there.
Yeah. And Drew's on now, which let's be honest, he's basically the one carrying monetize this.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be leaving that program, for what I heard. I guess that must have been a rumor.
I think he was planning to, but he just decided Joe kind of just talked to him, and then he calls in again, and NT was saved again.
I see
so-
there.
So Tony was there, but you know what? I don't think Tony was there as long as he claims to be.
Mm.
I only ever saw Tony ever on a show was the first time I actually saw Tony on Monetize This
Yes.
was August 2020.
Wow. I remember.
first time.
Yeah, that
So I
was
was
last year.
for him.
Yes.
I am betting.
So be about a
Yeah,
month.
I
It'll
am
be
betting.
about a year. I know when he came back on
Yeah,
the Underjudge sub monetize this. I think it was before monetize this. Everybody from Danny MT to Nikki J, they were calling him, cussing him out because you remember he was on the YR's streams a couple times, playing, kind of reviewing some of Joe's content, with that voice changer he had.
yeah. Um. Okay, I'm gonna read Sergeant Hartman comments for a second. He
All
has
right, go ahead.
some interesting things to say.
All right,
Joe's
there.
shows were much better with. Oh, I already read that. Yes,
Yes, we have.
same thing on Ken's show. Dave just talks right over everyone on Friday, and then Mello bowels over people on Saturday. You're spot on right there, Dr. Earl.
Yeah, I
You
see
know,
that there. Shout
I
out to you,
said that
Sergeant
about
Hartman.
Mello.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said
And
that about Mello,
yep, yes,
Dr.
you
Earl.
have, yes. And of
But
course,
yeah,
Costanza is like Boston liberals. Yeah, but I understand um, Massachusetts, like along with Michigan, is a very blue state, for the matter of fact there.
is Mississippi a blue state too now? Like,
I do not know. I've never been in Mississippi. The only two states I ever been, other than one time where I was conned to drive in a couple of girls out to see a show in Cleveland, Ohio. The only two states I've ever known was Michigan and here in Texas, where I live now. Plus, again, don't forget the times I went to Canada to on the weekends there to when I had the days off from work there.
right. So I'm planning on reading up on socialism a little more.
Mm.
Heard Dave Rose bring up some 20th century dictators.
Oh yeah.
A lot of I can find some that actually had resembled socialism ideologies. So, so I
Mm.
was like, thinking about reading up on socialism a little more because
I
history
see.
says socialism was mostly for communism or socialism.
Yeah.
Basically, dictated leaders controlling everything, right? So,
Yes.
so I'm planning on looking into it with dictators, countries, and because realistically speaking, I plan on putting something together. Like maybe I don't disagree with socialism completely, but I disagree with it as being a nation or a country. Like that doesn't work.
Yeah. Huh. I see. I know, and we got so many people in the in the political spectrum right now trying to push that narrative on everybody else out there, especially the 20 something or early 30 something crowd who grew up with bands like Rage Against the Machine preaching that stuff in their song lyrics most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I think this is important to know because socialism throughout, as far as I know, socialism throughout history has always been about dictating leaders.
Yep.
As far as I know, because
And
any
keeping people
socialist,
under their thumb, under
yeah,
their monopoly.
yeah, that's what I know. I know enough about politics and government to know, yeah, socialism won't work. This won't.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we read up on everything about
Yeah.
socialism, including other countries,
Yeah.
to know why it won't work. Of course, people are going to say, well, if we do this, we can help the people. No, 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 no. It's not going to help the people. It's going to help the government because it relies on the people to be dependent on the government. Remember that.
Yes.
That's what the government wants. The more dependent you are on them, the
The
more
more they
power you
have
give.
control over you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You're
And I
thinking
think
what
that's, and I said it a couple of times before, that's why I think, oh, that was Barack Obama's plan because, there was hardly any work during his second term in office. A lot of people, including myself, were unemployed for about a good almost 2 years. It was for me there. Everybody was on the food stamps. Everybody was collecting unemployment money or welfare checks, this and that. And when you think about it, a lot of people, I guess, were becoming dependent on the government. Oh, let the government just take care of us. Who cares? Yeah, but then again, if you become too dependent on the government and all that stuff runs out, whether it's welfare money or food stamps up there, you're going to be seriously fucked.
Sure.
Because all that money that they're spending on all those things there, they don't grow on trees there. You remember John Engler, who was one of our old governors back in Michigan. He made a lot of cuts in this program, that program, this program, that program, which infuriated everybody, almost everybody in that state, because there were a lot of people that were dependent on those programs just to get around, let alone survive. But one of the reasons why he had to do it was because he did in a press conference. He held up this wallet here. This is the wallet of the state, and as you can see, it is empty, meaning that the state was running out of money due to the excessive spending of these programs.
Yeah. Sad thing is, I think back in medieval times, the
Yeah.
Roman Empire tried the same thing.
Yes.
People giving them food, except it was free food.
Yes.
That failed. So it was a socialistic ideal, and it's the first sign of it I saw.
Yeah.
Outside of China, commies,
Yeah.
of course. But there's more I want to read about because, any political. Well, if you go back in history, Egyptians believed in slaves and control as well.
Yeah, it's true.
But if you go look into them more, they had a keen interest in animals too. Also, how I know that a hippo don't ever have a pet hippo?
Yeah.
Egyptians.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Sergeant Hartman has said, yep, he's from Michigan. I knew when he mentioned the area Inkster, but he's definitely not liberal. Unfortunately, everyone for Detroit votes Democratic without knowing what they're voting for. That's true. Look how many. When was the last time the city of Detroit had a Republican mayor?
I can't recall. I would have to look into that. I'm betting.
But here's another one. When was the last time the city of Detroit had an honest mayor? Because there were a lot of mayors in Detroit that really fucked over Detroit big time, regardless of which party they were affiliated with, the Republican or Democrat. I mean, the two big ones. Yep, he's going to he's in the chat right now saying, "Look at the politicians from Michigan: John Engler, Kwame Kilpatrick."
Yeah, you know what?
Many others.
You know what, Dr. Earl?
Jennifer Granholm. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh. You know what, Dr. Earl?
Yes.
Any blue state that's always blue,
Yep.
I guarantee you, most of them don't even know their rights. Do you know why they don't know?
Because they probably don't, because they don't want to learn. Yeah.
Egyptians. Exactly. Because anybody that has been in those blue states in small tiny neighborhoods, majority are black.
Yep. That's true.
Them Democrats want to keep those black people under their thumbs. They've been doing it for years, trying to keep them as slaves as well. Doing it for years. If there's any systematic racism in place, it's because of Democrats. They're just exposing it and saying it's them. Kind of ironic, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely there. It's like we're not dissing black people. We're dissing the decisions that they're making here. And if it was white people in the same predicament, we do the same thing.
You can't blame the black people for this exactly, because realistically speaking, they're not really taught anything because, the schools suck.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, man. The public schools are the public schools in the city of Detroit and elsewhere in Michigan were a massive shambles for a lot of years there.
Yeah. This is why you got people like Larry Elder, most black folks that are successful, pushing for charter schools. Because they want their kids to have a better education than the public schools in there. Because the public schools there in the terrible cities are shit.
Yep.
Absolute shit. They don't teach nothing. They don't give a fuck. They tell you a certain thing and you don't even know what the fuck your First Amendment is.
Yeah.
So that's the sad part. But it's not entirely their fault because
And these
it's
are the same people who are also wishing that they could get rid of the Second Amendment, which we all know is the right to bear arms, without realizing that without the Second Amendment, the First Amendment would be thrown out the window.
exactly. You know what? The Second Amendment, do you know what the Second Amendment was implemented for?
Yeah.
George
Pret-
Washington or AJ John Adams said people have the right to bear arms to
Correct.
protect themselves from anybody, including a tyrannical government.
Yes, a tyranny,
Tyranny.
including its own government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you got people like that, a terrible neighborhoods, bad, shambled. There's
The
more than just
ghettos,
gunfire.
yes.
Yeah. It ain't just gun violence.
Yep.
There's stabbings, there's beatdowns.
Carjackings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So much crime happening in there. Gun violence. You get rid of guns, you're not solving the problem. You're just solving the problem.
Precisely, exactly. There, too many. I guess too many of these anti-gun activists out there. They get this idea that if we take away the guns, things will be a lot more safer because the guns kill people and this like that, without looking at baseball bats, tire irons, other weapons. Strangulation. A few hits in the jaw there, or a few hits on the head with their fists, such and
Yeah.
such. But they're so because. But then again, we see so much gun violence in movies, the news, and in rap music, and we hear about it all the time. I'm gonna get my buddy out, and I'm gonna take care of you here. And who cannot forget that one famous line? Say hello to my little friend. I mean, when when all that is absorbed, they're going to get the idea if we get rid of the guns, things will be better off. But they're not realizing that that's not going to happen. You're basically allowing a tyranny, a tyrant, a dictator to step in and take over everything, including your lives, your financial, your jobs, everything else there.
And this is where your Third and Fourth Amendment comes into play. Third Amendment, this allows any government or police official to come in your house without a warrant.
Correct, yes.
You know, yes, without a warrant. So you're just gonna let them come inside your house willingly, search you for no reason,
Yes.
or give you a vaccine for no reason?
Yeah, well, I remember they were talking about that. Remember, they were discussing that on Ken's program last Saturday. It'll be a lot. So far, that has not happened on our doorstep there. The only thing I had in the past when I was back in Michigan were these Jehovahs Witnesses, but that was about it. So,
Yeah.
and thank goodness we went out to deal with those people over here because I don't think there are any Jehovah's Witness places around this area here that we live in Texas. But they were, man,
Exactly,
every day. They was not every day, but almost once in a great while, they would show up at your doorstep. Hi, we're this and that. We're this and that. We're from the Jehovah's Witness Church and so and so. There, we'd like to read something about the Bible. So I'm sorry, there. I already have a Bible. I already go to a church nearby area. Thank you anyway. Bye bye. But these were persistent on their crusade there.
You know what? You can disagree with him, because I do too.
Yep.
But you know what? I respect the cause, because you know what? First Amendment allows them freedom of speech,
That's
religion,
right. Yep,
press.
absolutely.
So you want to stop all that because you're frustrated with it. Of course, government will do anything.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm not. Well, I'm not asking them to stop. I know. I'm not going to say they have no right to do this. But
No, not you.
no, that's it.
You.
But in fact, I'm gonna let me say this. All the people out there who want to fight these these Aryan Nation, racist groups like the KKK and the White Brotherhood, all that bullshit. They do have the freedom. One of the things in the First Amendment is the freedom to organize. Now,
Yep.
but we also have they have the right because they would take away the right to free speech. The freedom to organize, as we all know. But we also have the right to ignore what they are saying, to not to buy into their shit.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure. I think that's where the Fifth Amendment comes into play,
Yes.
because no person shall be held to be answered without, what is it? Infamous crime or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Bottom line, you don't have to answer for something that you know that isn't linked to you. So
That's
you
true.
can't be held for interrogation unless there is consent for your arrest, right?
That's right.
So, so that's where the Fifth Amendment comes into play.
That's
Because
true
if
there.
you are taken and questioned without warrant, then you can shift that onto the government or cops. Hey, you're violating my rights, which they become more, cautious about violating your rights. Because if you know
Yes.
your rights, more
They'll
than likely they're not gonna
they'll
fuck with you.
exactly there.
So,
All right, so
um,
Minnesota, you want to hear Minnesota Vikings fan? Do you care to join in the chat here with care to join the call? Want me to add you to call there? Let me know in the comments in the chat here if you want to be added to the call there. All right. My computer is like screwing up. There we go. Oh, I'm thinking it's probably my OBS, messing with my computer a little bit there. But then again, it's an old computer there. Probably sometime soon, you should probably look at getting me a different computer there, one that will probably handle this OBS because, my nephew gave me this computer a couple of years back. Actually, before we moved to the area that we are in right now. And I guess what I understand, it's an old computer there, so it probably explains why it's I don't know. It looks like it's lagging here. I don't know what it is, but sometimes the gift that I'm using right now, and many others that I've used in the past, often slow down a little bit. I don't know why. All right, sorry, he's not at the moment. He says he's unable to. All right, that's okay, man. We'll definitely when we go with Real Spuck TV on Thursday evening, we'll definitely get you on the call once again, Bullzie. Definitely for spread this information. Definitely.
yeah, it's important that people know this. And
Yeah.
if really, you have to know your rights before
Yes.
you going, doing stupid shit first. Especially if you're going to vote for a government that are against, the Second Amendment.
Yeah. Or the
So,
anti-gun or the antis that are out there.
yeah, I don't understand why they're against the Second Amendment.
I guess I
Okay,
guess I guess the problem is, I mean, like Dianne Feinstein in the hearing, the Senate hearing, she mentioned, she was the one to oppose, she was the one providing this anti-gun law, I guess it was there, and she said, she grew up in the neighborhood. There was lots of gun violence.
right.
So that's definitely gonna have a big toll on you to think the way that she thinks. And plus, you got to remember, we've seen so many people using guns as a way of getting power. Do what I say, do what I order you to do, or else I'll shoot you in the leg and such. And we've seen so many people getting killed by guns, whether it's friends, relatives, in the projects. I mean, whether it's like Compton, California, or South Central Los Angeles, or downtown Detroit, or downtown Chicago, or Houston, or anywhere else, whether it's in Boulder, Colorado. We've seen so many people use guns as a tool of power, a tool as a threat. I'm going to get my gun and shoot you if you
Yeah.
don't do what I say. We've seen a guy, rapists, and a few people using guns as a way of getting to the woman to take off her panties so they can rape them.
Yeah, that's the sad part about reality.
Yeah.
But here's
That's a
here's
bit, and that's basically abuse of that privilege of the Second Amendment.
yeah, and yes, I agree. The ones that do abuse the Second Amendment should be punished.
Yeah,
That
it's us, the law who abide the laws, the ones who go by the getting the gun the right way, registering, and only using it at a time of emergency. We're the ones being put on the blame game there.
right. Because here's the thing: the ones that have a felony that had a gun should
Yep.
have their guns taken away.
Yep.
That's my belief.
That's true. Well,
That,
of course, if you're a felon, you're not allowed to have one either way there. But then again, there's still those out there who, if they believe
still,
that the law, they still get it on the black market there.
yeah, that's the sad part. You got the government trying to take guns away. They've already taken up over 1,000 people's guns away. Registered or not, I'm believing they were registered.
Yes.
They don't go to these small town neighborhoods and see any, because this is where most of the crime happens anyway, where crime
Yes.
comes from.
Yes.
Black small town neighborhoods. 90% of the crime are committed by blacks.
Yeah. That was one of the big reasons. I got to tell you this. That was one of the big reasons why my mom, my dad, they were happy to get out of Detroit and move to Roseville when my dad got himself a better, high-paying job. Because at the time, the crime rate in Detroit, where I was born, and lived for a few years prior to moving to Roseville, it was becoming it was a high crime area. There was so much crime going on at that time, and at that time, around the 1980s, when I started going down to see shows at the Joe Louis Arena with my dad and to clubs by myself, my mom was so worried that I'd be going back to Detroit. Something was going to happen to me because of this and this and this crime, that crime going on. Because and she even mentioned it. I don't know if she was racist towards blacks, but she was kind of afraid of them because she would say a few times, every time you read the news, every time you read the paper, every time you watch the TV, when there's a crime committed in the downtown area, it's always by blacks.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not entirely. I know, I
I'm
understand where
not
she's coming.
racist. I'm not racist either. When I mention this, I'm just saying a little something there that is kind of a fact. Now we've seen white people, Hispanics, other heinous crimes just as well. There, those do get mentioned as well. But knowing my mother at the time, the non-believer that she is of other facts there, the closed-minded woman that she was, you know,
That's how people are gonna be even these days. No
yeah,
matter how many facts you drop on someone, they're
yep.
gonna still have their beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you remember that one call that I was on? That I was on Dave Rose's program on another Saturday evening where they were talking about Scunty McGrunty, and they had Cora called in, and Dave Rose tried to debate her on a lot of things there, and Cora was like sticking to her guns. She could have been more open to what Dave was trying to tell her. But and how these SJWs and liberals are, they're like they hold on to their beliefs and nobody else's beliefs.
But you know what? Cora's a nice lady when it comes down to it. She's always gonna be this liberal SJW,
Yeah.
but she is overall a nice lady.
Hmm.
A little too serious,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Voted for Biden. I think that's a stupid decision.
I know.
No,
I agree as well. Yeah. And she tried to play it off like it's like I didn't really care for either, but I had to vote for Biden, and I'm sorry, but no, no, I don't think so. You
okay,
could have
this
either.
is where I would debate her on logistics of who to care about and if you care about the country or not. If you just didn't care about the either two, why did you vote for it in the first place?
Yeah.
That's the
But
first
then,
question.
but then again, you got to remember either way you got to vote because if you don't vote, kind of like you're throwing that power down the drain, for your right to say, because there was hence all the get out there and vote ads that we used to see some every time there's an election coming along.
And that being said, if you didn't like either of the two, why didn't you look into more presidents to vote for?
Yeah, because that's because there wasn't really out there during this past election. The two big names were like Trump and Biden. But there were some out there. I'm surprised Ralph Nader didn't throw his hat to the bid for being running for president because he used to do that almost every year, every time election time would come around there.
Yeah. But bottom line is, her idea, Joe Biden's better than Trump. This is where I would debate her. As a
Absolutely, I would have
president,
been, and I back you up,
what
man.
would you say? Why would you pick Joe Biden over Trump? That's the question. Because 4 months already in, he did a terrible job compared to Trump's first 2 months.
Yeah,
economy was the greatest ever. Why was that?
Absolutely, man. Because of Trump. Because Trump being the successful businessman that he was and probably still is. He was able to turn things around, get companies moving again, get people working once more.
Yeah, I respect her beliefs as a SJW, but even if you are as SJW, even if you are woke, wouldn't you want to come to the logical conclusion that which one is better? And your conclusion would be Trump?
Yeah.
This is just me. You can still have your beliefs, but if your beliefs is just saying fuck Trump, I think that's flawed. Really, that's something I can't respect. I mean, once upon a time, I would be like, try to understand Joe Biden. It's part of this side. But he just proved himself to be an idiot. A retarded idiot. He's demented.
Yeah,
He's
he
not
is.
fit.
Yeah. I remember making a video about it. I don't know if you ever saw it about, the way of the Sith were following in. Because remember when those Trump supporters raided the house there, they were like, I guess I guess it was their way of paying back the liberals for screaming, hollering, and throwing the fit when Trump got inaugurated. So I think it was their way of paying them back for their actions there.
Yeah, here's the thing. 2016 election.
Yep.
Trump won. I was full on board for the investigation on Trump. Full on board. If there was cheating, let's investigate. They claimed Russians. Okay, let's look into it. They found nothing. Investigated for 4 years. They found nothing, but they
Yep.
found something on Hillary. Don't want to explain it. That's funny. But the 2020 election,
Yep.
Trump claims there was cheating on the Democrat side.
Yeah.
Not a single investigation was conducted.
Of course.
Why?
Yep. Why? Because they
Why?
were
You know what?
anti-Trump.
That's one point. That's one. But there were so much irregularities. The sudden boost of Biden votes, for one. Of course, we can make the assumption that there were more people voting in 2020, but if you look at it, the sudden boost is very odd, and they weren't even going to look into that.
Yep.
So that's the odd part. Trash bags and alleys, so much trash bags and alleys.
Hmm.
That's the second part.
Yep.
Why are there so many trash bags and alleys? Like,
We all know the answer to
so-
that. There was talk mentioning that as all the ballots being thrown away there.
yeah. And people were keeping them from going into those alleys for some reason.
Absolutely.
And then they denied a federal agent to go and to see if everything was fair when their ballots were being counted. Denied.
Yep.
Wait.
Yep.
He's doing his job. Why are you denying him entrance at all?
Yep.
What? Now that's the weird part.
Conspiracy.
Also-
Bottom line, it was a conspiracy. Do anything we can not to get Trump reelected. Get Biden in there so everything would be safe. And like we said, all the liberal retards out there, they're like, yes, we could finally love again. You couldn't love when Trump was in office. No, we couldn't. You can and you should have.
I used to agree with liberals. We should love each other all.
Yeah,
But
that's true. But
Trump was right. Trump was right. You know what? They can't. People are just going to be stupid no matter what.
they're taught to
They'll
be,
be
yeah, because they're taught to be stupid. Remember, I mentioned this many times on Ken's program, Joe's program, and I'll say it again. The people out there who are adults today, the 30-something, and they're close to 40-something, to 20-something, who grew up in the 1990s when Clinton was in office. They grew up believing all these liberal values that was pushed forth on them, whether by Hillary Clinton or a Clinton or a Cunton or whatever. That's why you should call her Hillary the cunt. They were the ones. Yeah, absolutely. They were the ones pushing this political correctness, acceptance of everything else. All the stuff that was pushed to the side in the 1980s under the 12 years of Republican rule by Ronald Reagan and George Bush Sr.
Yeah.
They were the ones, they were the ones who grew up with those values, and they carried those values throughout their adulthood, no matter what. And if
Yep.
they reach their 50s or their 60s, they'll still have those beliefs today. Just like anyone who was a child in the 1960s, they're going to, when Nixon was in office, they're going to carry the beliefs that they had installed in them throughout there when they reach their 80s. Like, for instance, David Crosby or Stephen Stills, anybody from the 60s like G. Gordon Liddy or whoever it is, they're going to have the same values they grew up because that was what was opposed onto them.
Yeah, you know what, Dr. Earl?
Yeah,
I would agree with him. I actually agree with, what, let's just accept who people are.
yeah,
You can judge and you can have your opinions, but let's just learn to accept everything except for pedophiles. Let's not go that far.
yeah.
But accept as
And
long
race
as they're
and
good
racism and racist.
and racist, we condemn them. We condemn the bad ones.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but if they're good people, not the racist or sexist or pedophiles, we can,
Or abusers.
yeah, any of those people, regardless
Mhm.
if there are good people like trans, gays, straights,
Yeah,
white, black, we accept all.
yeah. Hate.
And when you have
Let's.
a disagreement with them, they preach hate because you don't agree with their ideology.
That's what they were
That's the
taught just as
hypocrisy
well.
of
That's the problem. That's what they were taught as well. That's another thing that
it.
that's
My
another
work
reason
comes
why I
on.
have all these have issues with SJWs. That's the same thing that they were brought up in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And it's
You know
time,
what?
and I
When
think let me say this one thing. It's time we stop with the hate. Stop hating one another for this reason. If you're gay, that's okay. If you're trans, that's okay. As long as you're cool with me, I'll be cool with you. Bottom line, let's stop with the hate. Only hate the wife beaters, the child abusers, the pedophiles,
Yes.
the drug dealers, the people
Yeah.
who shoot one another. Absolutely. The racism that's out there, the people who support the KKK, hate on those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Those are the ones who should deserve all that hate, not someone who disagrees with a certain opinion, whether it's or Joe Biden or Donald Trump or an abortion or which kind of music should be played on the radio.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, character assassination can be a form of slander.
It is, yes.
People that were pushing for equivalence and acceptance are hypocrites. Very big hypocrites.
Yeah.
Those are the same people that are defending pedophilia as we speak.
Yep, like the American Civil Liberties Union. I've heard about that organization many times on Morton Downey Jr.'s program back in the 80s. They were the ones defending drug dealers and pedophiles, groups like NAMBLA and such.
And those are the previous people that would defend KKK too.
Absolutely. Yep. Nope.
And
No
now
surprise
they want
there.
to damn it saying KKK was bad, but BLM is better, even though they're believing the exact same things and doing the exact same things, destroying towns, neighborhoods, killing some black people, mind you.
Yep.
BLM, Antifa was actually made in, I believe, in 1936.
Yeah.
Where in France, I should read up on it more.
Yeah.
But either way, Antifa was part of that too.
Yep.
Wow, Marxist. Congratulations.
Marxist, communist.
Yep. Congratulations, Democrats. You made. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
not really.
Well, yeah. You made everything into shit.
Yep. You made 3 terrorist organizations
Yep.
and called all for equality.
Yeah. Yeah. Only equality for them and not everybody else.
Yep. Black Lives Matter
Hmm.
only matter when someone's killed by a cop. Oh,
Yeah.
is he black? No? Okay, fuck him.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing. I remember why you're asking me if I support Black Lives Matter. I simply said it. If Black Lives Matter were to do the protest the right way instead of blowing up shit, ruining neighborhoods like their own pizza joints and that, I can understand that. I mean, so many people get shoot by cops. What happened with Breonna Taylor was a wrong thing to happen, but the thing is, them saying all cops are bastards, all cops are bastards. Not every cop is a bastard. I mentioned this a few times. Yeah, there was a few assholes out there who like to shove their badges in one space now and then. Take it up
Mm,
with them, not every cop that's out there. There were a lot of cops I remember being interviewed on TV who disagreed with what the LAPD did with Rodney King back in
yeah.
'91.
Did you know a white man? I don't know his name, but the media doesn't even address it. Did you know a white man died the exact same way on the same day as George Floyd?
Really? When did this happen? The same year? Last year?
Yeah, and I think Officer Tatum went over that. Like,
Oh.
if he hasn't addressed that, I think if he hadn't addressed it, I would not have known it.
Then they should have
White
looked
people are
in.
treated
Why
far.
did they look into Derek Chauvin's record? If it was Derek Chauvin who did that to another guy being white, well, why wasn't that brought up?
Oh, well,
That's
I
oh
don't
yeah,
know.
I'd rather concentrate on the black man because the black man getting killed by a white cop gets better news than the white guy getting killed by a white cop. Obviously,
I've always said this: if we're going to protest police brutality, address it on all grounds because it happens way more to white people
yeah,
than blacks.
yeah, it's
Blacks are the
true.
second highest, but it happens to Asians, Latinos, and Hispanics too.
Yeah,
We know this. So
yes,
let's protest it on all grounds. Start with that. Don't pretend it only happens to black people.
yeah,
That I think is disingenuous. Very disingenuous.
that's true
To
there.
because you're looking at one specific point, not the whole data.
Yeah. And plus, and we also question the media who presents this all to us because they're the ones that's pushing this narrative onto us. They're the ones that, because, like I said, black man getting beat up by a white cop gets more coverage than I said, a Latino or an Asian man getting beat up by a white cop.
Yeah,
Because that's the
just
thing there. Because and who can we thank for that? Rodney King and the LAPD. And later on, a year later, Malice Green at the Detroit Police Department.
yeah. You know, I would agree that some of the cops are bad in California, Detroit,
Yeah,
Chicago,
yeah.
because less policing and just jackasses all over the place.
I forgot, you know what? I forgot this one Facebook page that shows a lot of videos of bad cops being busted by the good cops. You know,
You know what? Yes, I know this. Cops always hold other cops accountable for their actions.
absolutely.
Yes.
That's right, because this one cop is one of the reasons why all cops are being looked down at because they know how the public is. If this cop's bad, then they're all bad. The same thing with this black person's bad, then all the black people are bad. Blah blah blah. How many times have we heard that from grandparents and parents all alike?
Yep. I don't
And
agree everything a group is bad. That's stereotype. That's a stereotype, and none of that's racist.
yeah, and back
Now,
to
to consider
back to the
cops,
video I was going to talk about. I forgot which page it was, but the name of the Facebook page. But the video was they caught this one cop, bad cop, doing something very upset, and as a form of punishment, while he was handcuffed, they cut off his uniform, disgracing him for what he had done. I was like,
um,
wow, that is a trip, man.
wow,
That is
yeah.
an absolute
If
trip, dude. But then again, the guy had it coming because he was. That brought shame to the police department. The police department is to protect and serve and uphold the law. And we have this bad apple doing all the dumb bullshit on the side there. That's going to cause all the police department to get all the resentment from the people.
exactly, yes, because cops are there to serve and protect the people, not act like a bunch of tough guys.
Yeah,
So
not shove their badge in
cops,
front of everyone or take advantage of their position. There was a
yes,
song called "Bitches" by Ice-T back in 1990 on his earlier albums. He kind of like had a verse in there. It kind of described one of the people that we was talking about. A kid that was abused for being a nerd. He was being picked on, being bullied because he was because he didn't fit in with the crowd. That kind of resentment he grows up with that kind of resentment. He becomes a law officer. He abuses that position. He abuses his wife because he's angry because of this happening to him when he was a kid, this and that there. I mean, that's the kind of people we also need to take a look at just as well, holding all these grudges, making threats towards, other people out there when they're in the high position of power there. I think I mentioned this on another program, Harvey Weinstein. I guess you look how ugly and fat he is. I'm thinking he must have been fat and ugly in his high school years, which is probably a reason why he didn't get laid during that time. And all of a sudden, now he becomes a big movie producer. He now calls the shots. Now he's going to take advantage of his position and make this actress sleep with him, make that actress sleep with him, take advantage of this actress, this female, that female there. I'm going to I'm going to get all I can. I couldn't when I was a teenager, and I can make you and break you unless you suck my dick. Oh, blah, 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 and all that stuff there, yada, yada, yada. But it's those kind of people that need to be that need to be looked out. Actually, let me rephrase that. I'm getting tongue-tied here. Those people are the ones that we need to keep a close eye on, because they're the ones that are most likely going to abuse their positions, whichever position that they get in, whether it's a movie executive or a television producer or a political figure or whichever they're.
Yeah. So, not much to go over from that, because you know what?
Yeah.
Yes, look out for people like that.
Yeah.
What else are we going to do?
Well,
and if you're worried about a man that tweets something like, yeah, fuck this person, let's get ready to shame this man to hell.
Yep.
We're worried about Twitter shit.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
That's what the world has come to.
I know. It's and let me say this for one more thing there. I forgot what I was saying, but damn, it just slipped my mind there. I'm going to say one little thing. I guess me and Minnesota Vikings fan we're going to discuss the situation with Skunty over there. Skunty tried to report. He was leaving comments on Minnesota Vikings fans' last stream there this past Friday. I guess YR, as we know, he took down his channel or placed it at private. And I guess Minnesota had made a little afternoon stream celebrating, yeah, no more YR, it's gone, yay, no more Scotty to put up there, no more this, no more this person, no more of that guy here, yay, no more Tony from Revere, no more Danny MT, we don't have to deal with those assholes anymore. And then Skunty leaves these comments under one of his aliases, Shadow Alien, and a couple other names there, fake accounts obviously, saying he was going to report Minnesota Vikings fan for harassment, threats, and this and that. And here's something else. He tried the show I did with you and Keith or Barber, he tried to report that. He left these comments saying, oh yeah, but you're willing to work with the pedophile, but you're able to slander me and YR, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the thing. I'm sure Keith Barber knows what he did. I guess he's paying for it, as we all know. And when you think, you got to give him credit for this. We always hear about YR using this person and that person for their content, to provide content for his channel here and there. Keith Barber used YR for something to do until lockdown came down in the state of Florida, where Keith lives.
Yep.
So YR got used by Keith. So Keith does deserve some credit for doing that. The user got used by one of his own disciples.
You know what? Scott called one of us a pedophile?
Really? Which one?
You said Scott was saying we're pedophiles.
No, he was calling Keith a pedophile. He was because of Keith's past there.
Wait, what's the past?
Well, the story was Keith was playing with himself in front of a couple of 14-year-old girls. And I guess because of his mental state, I guess he has autism and Asperger's syndrome. He was placed in a group home for a certain amount of years there. And
Oh,
lot of people were. I remember Jeebus the God told me the whole story months back on what he did there. So that's why he was like shunned by this community for a good number of years when story was revealed.
right. So did Keith apologize and just like,
I
I
know.
fucked.
I think I don't know if he did or not, but I know sure much he regrets it because him and Joe Blonin went out at on the YR's old shows there. Joe Blonin, who's also a Michigan native, I guess he lives in Grand Rapids. He was going after Keith because of what he did there. He's calling, "You're a pedophile, you're a sicko, you're a pervert, you're this and that." And Keith was like trying to defend himself, saying, "Listen, when I tell you I'm changed, you believe me. And I didn't know they were. It was the law at that time. I didn't realize. I'm paying for it now. No, no, you're not. I don't change. I don't believe you one bit there." It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between those two. It's since been deleted now, of course, uh, but it shows
Yeah,
but it shows some of the mentality people have towards people who commit some acts like that. I mean, like I was mentioning with the Arknoia and the Vikings there. If Bill Cosby tries to make a comeback on the concert circuit doing his comedy routines, there would be protests, there would be outrage, there would be a lot of screaming and shouting from everybody on the city streets, on social media. He would be called out, saying, how dare you do this? You don't have the right to come back to what you did to those women there, blah, blah, blah. Your career is over." They did the same thing with Jussie Smollett, the actor from the show Empire, and they did the same thing with R. Kelly.
well, you know, the key situation, I think it was just a very honest mistake he made. Very honest
Yeah,
mistake he made.
yeah.
Playing with himself like in front of girls, he probably, I guess he was in his right mindset at the time.
I
And
believe so as well. Because remember, Keith is kind of like, he's in his 30s, but when you listen to him speak at times, you can tell that he has something up there. That ain't right.
yeah, yeah, and he doesn't mean any harm.
Yeah,
He's not trying to be an idiot, but he's just trying to, live life.
yeah.
Okay.
And
He's
now since lockdown's over in the his state of Florida, he'll be out and about. I guess he'll be out going to doing places with some other people there. You know.
so yeah. I'm firmly gonna believe that was just a honest mistake.
Yeah.
What he did was wrong,
It was
and he
wrong.
realizes that.
I
He
remember
realized.
yes.
So all that has to be done is remember that.
And
Don't ever,
learn and learn from it.
yeah, keep that in your head because it's gonna be like, shit, I'm an idiot. I better start making some changes in my life.
Yeah.
That's the mindset people should have because
Yes.
it's how you grow as a person. Scunty.
Yeah. Precisely. And
Before you start calling someone a pedophile, remove that pedo mustache you have.
yeah,
Scunt.
I saw that, man. That was dim to look at.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can, I can, no. Let me also conclude this program by saying this: most of the people that have fucked with me in the past, who had threatened my life, either had goatees or mustaches. I spoke about this years back. I had my life threatened in October of 1992 at a place in Marysville, Michigan. I had my leather jacket and my old biker boots on, the knee-high biker boots, and these guys, came at me because they thought I was a drug dealer. They threatened to kill me. They threatened this. They threatened that. And one of them a couple of them had a goatees there. And it was because of all that, I had to grown a resentment against all things mainstream, as well as goatee or facial hair. Now, I admit I did have a lot of facial hair during the lockdown last year, but that was only for about a couple months there. I since shaved it off and decided, not to grow any more there because I don't want to resemble the enemy.
Right.
Yeah.
You can end it there. And thanks for the dislike, Scunty. Saw that go up to 5.
Yeah. I see it there. Yeah. Probably other people. But who knows? It may be a YR or somebody else there. Who cares?
But you never know, okay? Because they're losers on
Yeah.
the internet.
I'm not really concerned
Or,
about
again,
Scunty there.
yeah. I will always like YR, but I don't respect what he did.
Neither
Okay?
by. I was very upset when he brought in Scott. He messaged me on Skype saying, he had a $300 donation to bring Scott onto the program. I would have just taken the money and it came up with a lie like Scott doesn't want to be a part of the show there. Sorry, but thanks for the 300. Or he could have refused it. Because in the past he spoke both massive hatred towards Scott. Scott's not allowed on my channel. He would say repeatedly, and and as a result now, Wire got himself in a heap of trouble. His channel is gone. I don't know. Like I said, it was put in private or he took it down or whichever there.
I think you
But
private
yeah, I'm
did
thinking
it.
it's probably because I know Dave Rose is able to do a couple of reviews of his shows there on his Drama Emperor program there on his channel there.
Yeah. In my opinion about the drama wars thing,
Yeah,
as pointless as I see it is, it's been fun to watch because
yeah,
YR and them have been scrambling.
yeah,
And they've always just been like nonchalantly reviewing him, and it's been entertaining.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. Okay, I guess that'll do it for our show today here. I want to thank Bullzie for coming on the air with me and discuss these matters here. And once again, let me state one thing clear. I do not have any hatred towards Joe Cronen. I just don't care for suicide jokes or jokes relating to cancer. And also, I know in time we'll probably have a big discussion about this whole what this thing that Bullzie showed me there. And it's just, but at the same time, I'm kind of disgruntled.
Yeah. But either way, I think this is solidifying Joe Cronin as being a scumbag. So, if you ever want to talk to him about it, be prepared for some gaslighting and some pussyfooting around.
Like I'm here. Also, I gotta throw this there since you mentioned this. He told Tommy NC 2010 that I was gonna come down to North Carolina and beat his ass. Tommy goes off saying if Dr. Earl comes there, I'll take him out. Blah blah blah. There, and I never said I was gonna beat him up. I never said anything like. The next day, I made a video that's addressing that issue, and I called in on Joe's program on Tuesday Night Throwdown. I think it was. I think it was his something there. Yeah, it was Tuesday Night Throwdown there. And I addressed to Joe about that. He said he got it from some clip from somewhere. I said, well, find the clip. Find the clip. I still have yet to hear it. If
That's
he
what
did play
Joe
it,
always says. You
yeah,
know what? That's what Joe always says. I have a clip of it. He doesn't have a clip.
yeah. I don't think he ever did. And I said, and I even said, if there is a clip, I will owe up to it. See, if I were to say the wrong thing, I will owe up to it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I think,
You know,
and I think in Tom, he said that to Tommy just to get some kind of shit stirred.
yeah,
But,
you know.
yeah,
Yeah. But either way, yeah. The, supposed death threats you were making, according to Joe,
yeah,
on his video that I believe he actually deleted because I couldn't find it.
yep, absolutely. I remember you just mentioned he deleted that little thing he tweeted out that you showed me.
Yeah. Unless Joe can pull it up and show you, then I can admit that I'm wrong. So
All right.
I couldn't find it.
And I would admit if that's so, then I would admit I was wrong just as well.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all it would take. Yeah. You know what? We were wrong. You were
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it did. That's manning up right there.
Yep.
Not putting out false narratives.
Exactly. So if you ever do, and I'm pretty sure if Joe actually gets it, He's gonna be like, they were talking shit about me. He's gonna probably do that.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna pussyfoot around. I think he's not gonna be straightforward. I think he's gonna spin it a little bit and say it's them, because he's done it with Mabel, done it with me behind a DM,
Yeah.
saying it's them. They take my me and take my donators. Like, seriously, you coming to me in a DM about that? Come on. But
Oh
either way,
gosh.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I am wrong, I will admit I am wrong.
Same
Because
here.
I've been wrong before, and there's no shame in being wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's settling beefs anyway. So,
All right. So I guess
So-
it's no. Go ahead.
I'm guessing you want to end the show now?
Yeah, I'm going to. I got to get ready for work pretty soon there, and my clothes in the dryer, and got a big day tomorrow there, and of course the next couple of days there, I should say there, and plus Thursday I'll be me and Arknoy will be live once again at an hour earlier before I go live with Minnesota Vikings fan in his show, Real Swag TV. Definitely check them out, folks. Okay, Bullzie, thank you so much for coming on with me, and we're discussing these issues here. And want to thank everybody for watching. For Bullzie and myself, you have a good Monday evening, and have a good week coming up there. Now,
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dr. Earl.
All right, there. All right, yeah, take care, man.
You too, man. Always
bye-bye.
nice talking to you.
All right, same here, dude. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.